we all notice today is that there is a lot of discussions going on around us about data, right? So today, if you go to any professional network like let's say LinkedIn, or you go to any job site, or you look at any technology forum, you see that there is a lot of conversation about data and analytics and data science, right? So it's one of the hottest areas today. So you may wonder what exactly has suddenly happened. Why is there so much of excitement? Why are there so many conversations around data? So, and here is a quick summary of some of the trends that are happening in the industry today, and what you should be aware of. So the first thing is that there is what we call a data explosion that has happened around us, right? So there is a lot of data all around us, and I will talk about why this has happened. But just to give you an idea, it is estimated that the total volume of data that we would be seeing around us is 44 zettabytes, where one zettabyte is 10 to the power 21 bytes by 2020, which is this year. And in the next 5 years, the total volume of data around us would become 180 zettabytes. So you can imagine 180 and then 21 zeros, right? So that's the total volume of data that we are talking about. And obviously, when you have such a huge volume of data, there is a question of how do you manage the data? How do you store it? How do you analyze the data? How do you try and make sense of this data? So that's a huge task, and that's where some of these new technologies like big data management and data science. That's where these new technologies come into the picture, and I will talk more about this as we go along. So the question is, why suddenly there is an explosion of data? How come there is such a huge volume of data all around us? And the reason for that is there is an increasing use of devices like say mobile phones, right? So, and when you use a mobile phone, what's happening is the mobile phone itself is generating a lot of data, and it is not just the data about the calls you are making from the phone or the messages that you are sending from your phone, but the mobile towers are capturing all kinds of information like your location data. So when you turn location on in your mobile phone, there is information about location, right? So that's just an example. So there are all kinds of data that are being generated from your mobile phone. Then there is the increasing use of social media like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all of these different social media networks. So people are continuously uploading photos and videos, and they are posting on all of these social media networks, and that is again generating a huge volume of data. So if you think of a company like Facebook, where there are millions and millions of users across the world, and all of them every second of the day are posting pictures and they're uploading videos and they're putting their own Facebook posts, that is generating a lot of data, right? Now, you may wonder, why is this data important, right? It's fine. People are uploading a lot of pictures and videos and they're writing their posts. But why is that important? Why is there a need to store and manage and analyze the data? The reason why it is important is when you are uploading, let's say, pictures or videos, it is telling something about you, right? It is telling something about you as a person, what kind of photos you like, what kind of videos you like. So when you are putting in a post or when you are, adding a hashtag, it tells you what are your interests, right? So as a person, what are your areas of interest? And it is very important for different companies and different nations to understand that. So they have a big view of you as a person. What are your political interests? What are your uh, interests when it comes to entertainment? What kind of movies do you watch? What kind of books do you read? Right? Do you like going to restaurants? So if you are uploading pictures of uh, of pictures from different restaurants that you have visited, like a lot of people do on Facebook. So that is again an extremely important piece of information about you, that you like eating out and these are the kind of restaurants where you go, which is which is a very important piece of information, right? So, so I just gave you some examples of why there is suddenly a huge volume of data and why there is a need to store, analyze, and understand that data. And as we go along, I will give you some more examples so that you understand these things better. The second big development that has happened is uh, obviously there has been a lot of technology advancement. Like today, we are sitting, like ma'am said, right? So we are sitting thousands of miles away from each other, and we are all talking to each other, right, through a platform like Google Meet. And I think ever since the pandemic started over the last 6 or 7 months, uh, everybody has been working from home. Schools and colleges are closed, but has anything stopped? No. For me, for example, I work with my clients and my teams all over the world, but not a single day has passed when my work has been affected, right? It is going on perfectly well, just the way it was even before the pandemic. It is just that we are not able to meet people in person. But then you look at the kind of technology advancement that has happened. We can see each other, we can listen to each other on a virtual platform, right? So which I think even till a few years back one could not imagine. This whole concept of online classes, of the respected teachers who are taking
Definitely, sir.
online classes
Definitely.
every day.
Exactly, sir.
Exactly. And so there are problems to that, like like for example, for very long hours you have to sit in front of a computer screen, which is unavoidable, but it is possible, right? So that's the kind of advancement that has happened. And a lot of these things are because there is a faster accessibility through our internet networks, our internet connectivity, mobile phones. So there is a which even till a few years back nobody could even imagine that this is at all possible. And also you will hear a lot of new technologies that have come up, right? Like artificial intelligence and machine learning and all of that. And I will talk about that because see what happens is when you hear terms like that, you often think that okay, these are all very theoretical things. Am I using artificial intelligence at all? Do we, or is it something that will happen sometime in the future? So I'll give you some examples by which you see that these things are already happening today. So these are not things of the future anymore. So that's again very exciting to know. And the last very important thing to understand is uh, see the kind of technology leaders in the market that has also undergone a significant change. So today, some of the companies that really drive technology and drive innovation are companies like Google, right? So today we are having this meeting on Google Meet, right? And Google is a very powerful platform. So when it comes to, so Google started off as a company which just gave you the search functionality. So till about a few years back we would only do search on Google, and today you see that you can do pretty much anything on Google. You can have virtual meetings like this. Google is giving you email, Google gives you cloud storage in Google Drive. All kinds of things, right, are possible to do on Google. Same applies for Facebook. Facebook again is a very powerful technology company, right? You can Facebook, and then Facebook went ahead and it got integrated with a lot of companies like WhatsApp. So Facebook acquired WhatsApp a couple of years back. uh, and again, WhatsApp as a platform, it gives you free messaging, you can make video calls. Same for Amazon. So Amazon, a lot of you may know, started off just as a website that would sell books. That was how Amazon started. But today Amazon is a platform where the buyers and sellers of all kinds of products are coming together. I think over the last few months when we had the pandemic, uh, this was extremely useful, right? So people could order all kinds of their all kinds of daily groceries on Amazon, and this became a very powerful technology platform. And again, you must understand that Amazon is nothing but a technology company, right? Because Amazon by itself does not sell anything. It does not have a go down or a storehouse where it stores products and sells to people. Amazon is just a platform where you as a seller, you are coming and advertising your product, and I as a buyer, I'm going and just buying it from you. Amazon is just giving you the platform where this transaction can take place, where you are coming with your product and I am going and buying it. Right? Again, the same for Uber, right? So I think today for our daily commute, we are heavily dependent on companies like Uber and Ola and all of these service providers. Till a few years back, uh, this whole concept was not there, right? And again, you have to understand that Uber, again, just like Amazon, is nothing but a technology company, because Uber doesn't have its own cars. They do not have their own drivers. So today, if I have a car and I am driving my car around, I will go and register myself on Uber as a driver using my own car, and then Uber gives me a platform. Somebody can ask for a cab on the app, and if I am near the house of that person, I will just go and pick that person up. So Uber is just bringing two people together: the person who's ordering, the who needs a cab, and the person who's driving that cab. That's it. Uber doesn't have its own cars or its own garages or things like that. So you can understand the power of technology, right? And all of these things are based on things like data and analytics and data science and so on, right? So I just wanted to give you a very high level view of the way in which technology is advancing, right? So moving on. So now all of these things is really starting with data. So the first thing is that you have to capture and process huge volumes of data. But the very important thing to understand is that data by itself is useless, right? So I can keep on capturing tons of data. I can fill my hard disk with all kinds of data. But then if I do not analyze the data, and if I do not try and make sense out of that data, if I do not understand the data, then there is absolutely no point in gathering data. The whole idea is, so a lot of you who have probably studied statistics either in your higher secondary course or maybe in your university course, you will understand that point, right? So statistics deals with huge volumes of data, but then you have to do something with the data. You have to analyze the data, right? You have to do time series, or you have to do correlation, things that you do in statistics to make to sort of create meaning out of the data. That's when the data becomes useful. That's when you identify some patterns within the data. You can see what are the trends that are happening with the data, and that's how data becomes useful.